Smile, 2022, is a psychological horror film that intricately explores themes of trauma, mental illness, and the supernatural in a modern urban setting. The narrative effectively blurs the lines between reality and delusion, offering a haunting examination of fear and the depths of the human psyche. The film centers around Dr. Rose Cotter, a psychiatrist working in an emergency psychiatric unit. Her seemingly stable life takes a horrifying twist upon her encounter with Laura Weaver, a graduate student brought in after a public episode of distress. Laura asserts that she is being tormented by a malignant presence that adopts the visages of people she knows, wearing their faces grotesquely. Despite Rose's attempts to rationalize Laura's fears as mere hallucinations, the encounter culminates in tragedy when Laura, overwhelmed by panic, takes her own life with a disturbing smile on her face. Laura's shocking death serves as the inciting incident, unleashing a chain of unsettling occurrences for Rose. Following the event, she is plagued by bizarre phenomena, including visions of people wearing the same unsettling smile. As these occurrences intensify, Rose's sense of reality begins to unravel, clouded by her inability to discern what is genuine and what is fabricated by her mind. Her personal relationships and professional world decay as she struggles with this disorienting and terrifying new reality. In pursuit of understanding the disturbing occurrences, Rose embarks on a personal investigation into Laura's claims. Along the way, she discovers a disturbing trend. Similar incidents have transpired involving individuals who witnessed traumatic deaths, each of them marked by the same sinister smile that tormented Laura. Rose gradually uncovers the existence of a malevolent force that seemingly passes from one individual to another through the act of witnessing a gruesome suicide. Smile deeply engages with themes of trauma and mental illness, illustrating how profoundly traumatic experiences can disrupt psychological equilibrium and alter one's perception of reality. Rose grapples with her own traumatic past, particularly stemming from her mother's suicide, which enhances the complexity of her character and heightens her vulnerability to the unfolding supernatural occurrences. The film delves into the societal stigma surrounding mental illness and the often inadequate support structures available for individuals in distress. Rose's struggles are dismissed by her fiancé Trevor and her sister Holly, who interpret her increasing anxiety and paranoia as signs of a mental breakdown. This lack of support intensifies her feelings of isolation and desperation, mirroring the real-world challenges faced by individuals coping with mental health concerns. In addition to these themes, the film intricately weaves in a supernatural element manifested through the malevolent entity that haunts Rose. This insidious force thrives on trauma and fear, perpetuating a cycle of despair and death. It is portrayed as a manipulative presence that distorts its victims' perceptions, even leading them to inflict violence upon themselves. The supernatural dimension of Smile serves as a potent metaphor for the inescapability of trauma and its enduring impact on the mind. The entity's ability to don the faces of familiar individuals captures the invasive and persistent nature of traumatic memories, emphasizing how past hurts can resurface and influence the present. Overall, Smile emerges as a chilling narrative that merges psychological horror with deep thematic explorations. It portrays the intersections of trauma, mental illness, and the supernatural in a way that compels viewers to reflect on the fragility of sanity and the lingering effects of grief and loss. As Rose navigates her haunting reality, the film ultimately prompts critical conversations about the need for understanding and support around mental health issues, illuminating the struggles that can often remain hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. Through its unsettling storytelling and complex character development, Smile leaves a lasting impression on its audience, reminding us of the powerful interplay between fear, trauma, and the human experience. Climax and resolution. As the film Smile reaches its intense climax, the protagonist Rose grapples with escalating feelings of isolation and desperation. She comes to the grim realization that to break the haunting cycle, she must confront the malevolent entity alone, with no means of transferring it to another victim. This pivotal moment unfolds in an eerie confrontation within an abandoned house, where Rose gathers the courage to face her fears and the sinister presence directly. The resolution crafted within Smile resonates as both haunting and thought-provoking. It leaves viewers pondering profound questions concerning the nature of reality, the intricate power of the mind, and the lasting effects of unresolved trauma. With an open-ended conclusion, the film invites a multitude of interpretations regarding the potential for healing and the vital importance of empathy and understanding in tackling mental health challenges. The visual style of the film plays a significant role in amplifying its unsettling narrative. A muted color palette serves as a backdrop, establishing a somber tone that mirrors Rose's internal struggles. Through the juxtaposition of mundane environments with jarring supernatural occurrences, the film effectively blurs the lines between the familiar and the uncanny, preserving a sense of tension and unease throughout. Inciting incident. The dark turn in Rose's life is triggered by her encounter with Laura Weaver, a graduate student brought in for psychiatric evaluation. Laura, visibly distressed, insists that she is being tormented by a sinister force personified by people she knows, entities that twist their faces into grotesque smiles. Despite Rose's efforts to reassure her, Laura's overwhelming fear culminates tragically in her horrifying suicide, witnessed by Rose and altering the course of her life forever. Rising tension and haunting. In the aftermath of Laura's death, Rose finds herself profoundly affected as a series of unsettling experiences unfold, leading her to see haunting hallucinations and hear disembodied voices linked to the haunting Smile. As the experiences become increasingly vivid and alarming, they invade both her professional capabilities and personal relationships. Amidst her spiraling paranoia, Joel, Rose's colleague and past love interest, enters the scene. As a police officer, he offers a pragmatic viewpoint to counterbalance Rose's intensifying fears while remaining a source of support and compassion, highlighting the complexities of their relationship during this tumultuous period. Motivated by an insatiable need to understand the connections tethering Laura's claims to her own terrifying experiences, Rose embarks on a disturbing investigation. Throughout her journey, she uncovers a disturbing pattern of suicides sharing common threads tied to the same supernatural force. Every victim had witnessed a traumatic death and succumbed to similar haunting experiences leading up to their tragic ends. In her pursuit of answers, Rose encounters Gabriel Munoz, a man who claims to have survived the curse by committing an act of violence that transferred the malevolent entity to another individual. This unsettling revelation propels Rose into a moral quandary. To save herself, she must confront the entity directly or risk perpetuating the cycle of despair by causing harm to another person. Character development. Rose Cotter. At the heart of the film is Rose, characterized as a compassionate and dedicated psychiatrist, yet battling her own unresolved trauma stemming from her mother's suicide. Her journey evolves into one of self-discovery and empowerment as she wrestles with the fragile boundaries between reality and delusion, ultimately seeking redemption and closure from her past. Joel. Joel embodies a stabilizing force in Rose's life, juxtaposing skepticism with unwavering support in her quest for understanding and clarity. His role underscores the critical need for empathy and understanding when navigating mental health crises, standing in stark contrast to the dismissive responses of other characters within the narrative. Together, the interplay between Rose's struggle against the pervasive entity and her relationship with Joel encapsulates the film's exploration of trauma, mental health, and the quest for connection in the shadows of despair. The malevolent force of the film manifests as a parasitic presence that feeds on pain and fear. Its ability to mimic familiar faces symbolizes the intrusion of traumatic memories, materializing Rose's deepest fears and insecurities. Climax and resolution. The climax of the film takes place in an abandoned house where Rose confronts her past and the entity. In a tense confrontation, Rose tries to break the bond that connects her to the entity by isolating herself, thus depriving it of the trauma it needs to thrive. The resolution is both ambiguous and thought-provoking. While Rose faces her fears and takes control of her narrative, the film leaves open the question of whether she truly manages to escape this cycle or if the entity's influence persists. Thematic exploration, trauma and mental illness. Smile explores the lasting impact of trauma on the psyche, using the supernatural entity as a metaphor for unresolved emotional pain. The film questions societal perceptions of mental illness, highlighting the stigma and isolation faced by those suffering from psychological distress. The narrative blurs the line between reality and delusions, prompting viewers to question the nature of Rose's experiences. This ambiguity enhances the psychological horror, leaving the audience to ponder the possibility that the entity is a manifestation of Rose's subconscious fears. Empathy and understanding. Through its characters, the film emphasizes the importance of empathy and understanding in addressing mental health challenges. Rose's isolation is exacerbated by the nonchalant attitude of those around her, underscoring the need for compassionate support systems. Symbolism. Symbolism is omnipresent in the narrative, with the smile of the entity as a recurring motif. This smile represents the facade of normality that masks the underlying fear and trauma, challenging both the characters and the audience to confront the darker aspects of the human psyche. Conclusion. Smile, 2022, is a masterfully crafted psychological horror film that delves into the complexities of trauma, mental illness, and the supernatural. Through its interwoven narrative and captivating characters, the film compels the audience to confront their own fears and perceptions of reality. Its haunting atmosphere and thought-provoking themes leave a lasting impression, resonating with viewers long after the credits roll. With its psychological depth and visceral horror, Smile stands out as a poignant exploration of the human condition, offering a cinematic experience that is both chilling and insightful. Final reflection. Smile is a gripping film that offers a chilling exploration of trauma and mental illness through its psychological approach. With its complex storytelling and nuanced characters, it encourages viewers to confront their own anxieties and reconsider their perceptions of reality. It is a powerful reminder of the impact of trauma and the importance of compassion and understanding in addressing mental health issues. The unsettling atmosphere and reflective themes of the film leave a lasting mark, signifying a profound experience for viewers. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.